Good morning, guys. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Can you hear me? Drop a comment if you can hear me loud and clear. Good morning, good morning. Sure you had a blissful night. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Drop a comment. If you can see my screen, let me know in the comment section. This session is for those who couldn't make it to yesterday's class. We had a session last night. I decided to hold this session for those who didn't or could not participate last night. If you have any question, if there's any pair you want us to analyze together, drop it in the comment section. Drop it in the comment section. If there's any pair you want me to analyze, drop it in the comment section. Thanks for joining. Okay, so let's start by looking at the fundamentals. So today we are expecting a major news from the United States by 3 p.m. Okay, CHF data was released this morning. That's for that CPI data was released from Swiss franc, and it was negative for Swiss franc. And I shared with you guys yesterday the CPI data that was released for Australian dollar. You can see Australian dollar CPI was positive. Okay, it was positive, and CHF is negative. So Australian dollar CHF would be a good bet to trade. If you look at the chart, you will see that Australian dollar CHF is bullish at the moment. It is bullish at the moment. If you have not a buy on Australian dollar CHF, you could wait for a little retracement, okay, before you join the trend, okay? It is bullish at the moment. It's been bullish since the market opened. And for this data to be negative for CHF, you should expect more sales on CHF. It means you should sell CHF and buy Australian dollar, right? Buy Australian dollar, you sell CHF. So the order you would execute on Australian dollar CHF is buy. Okay. Then by 3, I've got to trade Euro USD, NZD USD in New York session. I think Australian dollar is very strong this morning. New Zealand dollar is strong this morning. I think Euro also is strong this morning. I think the dollar is weak this morning. So I'm looking forward to sell, to buy Euro USD, New Zealand USD, Australian dollar USD in New York session. Now, if this news comes out negative for the dollar, then we should expect more buys, right? So we expect more buys on Euro USD, NZD USD if this news comes out negative for the dollar. But if it is positive for the dollar, I would like to see a little retracement on Euro USD to the downside before taking buy. Okay, so that's my take on fundamentals. Let's go to the chart. If you have any question or any pair you want me to analyze, please let me know. Okay, so let's start with dollar index. Dollar index. Okay, let's look at yen baskets and see. Let's start with the daily time frame. For those of you who attended last night's session, I told you guys yen is bullish. As you can see, since the market opened, yen has been bullish. Yen is strong at the moment. It is strong at the moment. You can see what played out last week. You can see on last Friday, the price was used to come fill this favor look it's created here. And you can see the candlestick pattern that formed after that gap got filled. This is a spinning bottom indicating change in trend from bearish to bullish. And as you can see today so far, yen has been bullish. And like I shared with you guys last night, I told you guys yen is likely going to come and fill this fair value gap before going bearish. That's my expectation on yen. I expect yen to come fill this gap. Okay, so you should be looking for sales on JPY pairs. Look for sales on JPY pairs. Okay. So we have on 4 hour. Okay, so this is what we have on 4 hour. If you've not joined the trend, if you haven't executed any trade, you might wait for a little retracement. Wait for a little retracement. You could look for a good setup to buy in New York session. Okay, you can see we have that's created a fair value gap here. Okay, so a breakout also from this resistance. There's a breakout from this resistance, so price is expected to pull back to retest this resistance. Okay, this resistance don't support. If it doesn't pull back to test this zone, there's a high probability to come for this fair value gap. So you should look for buy, from this zone. So look for sales on JPY pairs. On most JPY pairs, you have JPY as the counter. So you should look for sales. Okay, so that's my take on the yen baskets. Next instrument is dollar index, DXY. Okay, so DXY, I think for today's market, my bias for the week on DXY is bullish. Okay, my bias for the week on DXY is bullish. But for today's market, I expect DXY to be bearish. That's my expectation on dollar index. Okay, that's my expectation on dollar index. There is a high probability this low, okay, this low will be cleared. That's my expectation. And if we apply our Fibonacci from this swing low to this swing high, I want to see price pull back to a discount area. Okay, I want to see price pull back to a discount area before going bullish on. It's also possible, you can see we have a fair value gap here that has not been filled. It is also possible for price to come, fill this gap. It's also possible. Okay, it's also possible for it to come this fair value gap before going bullish. So for today's market, I'm considering selling. I'm considering selling dollar. I'm considering selling dollar for today's market. But for the week, my bias remains bullish for the dollar. My bias remains bullish for the dollar. Okay. So like I said, in New York session, after the news is released, I would look for buy opportunities on Euro USD, GBP USD, NZD USD, Australian dollar USD. Okay, so let's look at currency pairs. If there's any pair you want me to analyze, please let me know in the comment section. Let's start by looking at GBP USD. So GBP USD. GBP USD, a few minutes. Okay, so on GBP USD, what do we have here? This is the first candle for the day. So you can see we had a support here on GBP USD. We had this support here. We also had this support at this point. Okay, so so this support is broken, GBP USD is bullish. Okay, until this support is broken, GBP USD is bullish. Okay, so you can see first candle for the day was bullish, and I think it's created a fair value gap. Price has pulled back to fill that fair value gap. Let's confirm that on lower time frame. I think that's the reason for this sell. Let's go down to 1 hour. So you can see on 1 hour, it's created a fair value gap at this point, and that could be the reason for that retracement. Okay, this fair value gap could be the reason for that. So that gap has not been filled entirely. So most likely in New York session, they might still want to come and clear the liquidity. A lot of retail traders would have executed buy after the formation of this doji. and this inverted hammer, and their stop losses will be residing at this previous low. So it's possible they will come for the liquidity residing at this low, hopefully in New York session, before going bullish. Okay, so if you want to take any trade now, if you don't want to wait for the major news to be released, you want to wait for price to, you want to set your stop loss, you want to set your stop loss several pips below this level. Okay, you could set your stop loss using the low of this candle or the low of this candle. That is where you should set your stop loss. Okay, so it's most likely GU would come fill this fair value gap. I'm just going to go for like 50 pips, between 40 and 50 pips. That's my target. That's my target. Okay, and it's likely going to come clear the liquidity residing at this relative equal high. That's my expectation on GBP USD. Okay, that's my expectation on GBP USD. If it pulls back to this zone, this would be a very good area to consider buying. Okay, this zone would be a very good area to consider buying. Your risk will be less. Your risk will be less if price pulled back to this zone. 20, 25 pips, then you go for 40, 45 pips or 50 pips on GBP USD. That's what I see playing out in today's market. If you have any question, let me know in the comment section. If you have any question, any pair you want me to analyze, let me know in the comment section. Okay, so that's it for GBP USD. My bias for GBP USD today is bullish. I am bullish on GBP USD. Let's look at Euro USD bias. Okay, so Euro USD also can see it created a fair value gap. I think the gap on Euro USD has been filled. It filled it entirely. Can you see that? This tiny gap got filled. You can see it got filled. So I think Euro USD is set for buy. Yeah, I think Euro USD is set for buy. There's a fair value gap here. Let's go down to 15 minutes. Let's say 15 minutes. Okay. So you can see the fair value gap on 15 minutes. This gap has not been filled. So Euro USD is likely going to come, fill this gap. It has not filled this gap, though it tested this resistance on support. You can see price came back to test this resistance on support. Okay, can you see this resistance on support? Price came back, tested that level, and there was a strong rejection from that zone, from that area. So I would like to see price retrace, probably to come clear the liquidity residing at this low before going bullish on Euro USD. There are stop losses. I know a lot of retail traders have executed buy, and their stop losses will be residing at this low. So in New York session, they might want to come clear the liquidity residing at this low before going bullish. So if I'm to take a trade on Euro USD now, stop loss must be several pips below the low of this candle. Stop loss will be this low or this low. Now, if I take the trade now, the risk will be high. So I would rather wait for price to pull back to this fair value gap, fill this gap before going bullish on Euro USD. I hope you guys can hear me. I hope you guys can hear me. Okay, let's move on to the next instrument. That will be gold. Let's look at gold. Gold. Okay, so you can see, I think gold has been bullish since the market opened. Gold has been bullish. This is 4 hour. I shared this with you guys yesterday. I told you guys my bias for gold is bearish, but I expect price to pull back to fill this gap it's created, and you can see that is playing out in the market. I expect gold to sell, but I want to see it pull back to fill this fair value gap, and it is approaching. I think, yeah, it is approaching this fair value gap. Yeah, see, price is inside this gap right now. Can you see that? So if a bearish reversal pattern forms after these gaps get filled, one could look for sells on gold, and gold is likely going to come for this relative equal low. It's likely going to come for this relative equal low, the liquidity residing at this low. Okay, so that is what I see on gold. That is what I see on gold. It's going to pull back, clear this liquidity. Okay, gold is bullish at the moment. Gold is bullish at the moment, but this is not the right time to buy gold. If you buy gold now, the risk is very high. This is a good entry on gold. I think this was the first candle for the day. This would have been after the formation of this candle. That would have been a good buy on gold. And if you had bought gold from this point, you would have made close to, that's about 370 pips. 370 pips. Bought gold from this point, you have made a profit of 370 pips. So you don't want to take a buy from the current market price because price has already moved. Patiently wait. If your bias is bullish, you should wait for a retracement to a discount area. Take it from this swing low to this swing high. Wait for price to pull back to a discount area before you take a buy. Okay, but my bias is bearish on gold. Okay, my bias is bearish on gold for today's market. It's bearish. Okay. Good morning, Mr. Godswill. Good morning. You're welcome. Please give the video a thumbs up if you haven't done that. Give it a thumbs up so that others can get to see the video. Give it a thumbs up. If you have any question, any pair you want me to analyze, drop it in the comment section. Okay, so let's see Euro Aussie. Euro Aussie, I think has been bearish. Okay, so let's see what we have on Finvix. Let's see. Let's see on Finvix. Let's see which of the currencies are strong. So JPY is the strongest at the moment. Then next is Australian dollar, then followed by New Zealand dollar. These are the strongest currency at the moment. USD is the weakest, okay, followed by Canada. Then next is GBP. GBP, okay. So these are the strongest and these are the weakest. So all you need to do is pair the strongest with the weakest. That is all you need to do. But you need to ensure that you see your bullish setup or your bearish setup on the chart before you take the trade. Okay, don't just rely on the data you have on Finviz. Don't just rely on this data. Ensure that you know the trend for the day and you see your setup on the chart before you come to Finviz to know the strength. If it's in confluence with the other flow, then you can take the trade. I hope that is clear. So dollar is weak today. So best to look for buys on Australian dollar USD and also New Zealand USD. Okay, so GBP is weak. GBP is weak. Okay, CAD also is weak. So if you look at Australian dollar CAD at the moment, it is bullish. If you look at New Zealand CAD, it is bullish. Look at Euro CAD, it is bullish. Let's just confirm that on the chart. Let's start with Australian dollar CHF, that is bullish. Okay, let's see New Zealand CAD. Let's see New Zealand CAD. Let's just confirm that on the chart. New Zealand CAD. You should use this as a confluence, okay? New Zealand CAD. Okay, so you can see New Zealand CAD has been bullish, and I think it is still bullish. You can see that. New Zealand CAD has been bullish since the market opened. You can see it has been bullish. You can see. Can you see that? Okay, New Zealand CAD is bullish. Let's look at Australian dollar CAD. Let's see Australian dollar CAD. Australian dollar CAD should be bullish also. Let's see. So you can see daily Australian dollar CAD has been bullish. Can you see that? It's been bullish. So Australian dollar CAD is likely going to come for this high, this liquidity. Okay, it's likely going to come for this liquidity. Let's see what we have on 4 hour. Okay, so you can see here we had a fair value gap here. So if price breaks out from this gap, then it's going for the liquidity. This is the next target for has approached that zone over. It's there already. Okay, so it's likely going to fill this fair value gap, and that's about 50 pips from the current market price. Yeah, 50 something pips from the current market price. So it's likely going to fill the fair value gap, and if price breaks out on the fair value gap, it will go for the liquidity residing at this previous high. That's what I see play out on Australian dollar card. Okay, let's look at which other instruments. Let's see what FinV is. JPY. If you look at CAD JPY should be bearish. USD JPY should be bearish. GBP JPY should be bearish. Let's go to the chart to confirm that. USD JPY, GBP JPY, USD JPY should be bearish. Let's see. So you can see USD JPY. You can see USD JPY has been bearish. Can you see that? Let's start with the daily. So you can see JPY has been bearish. It's been bearish. So it's likely going to pull back to fill this fair value gap. Please, before you go to FinVs, so check the strength of the currencies and ensure you know the trend of the market. Have a bias before you go to FinVix. Okay, so it's likely going to come fill this fair value gap before buying. Okay, let's see GBP JPY also. I think has been. Good morning, Mr. Ismail. It's been a while, Mr. Ahmed. I hope you're fine. It's been a while. You've not been joining the classes. Hope you're fine. So you can see GBP JPY also has been bearish. It's been bearish. So GBP JPY is likely going to come fill this fair value gap. Okay, its first target will be this liquidity. This liquidity, that's first target for GBP JPY this week. It is coming for this. If it clears this low, then there's a high probability to come fill this fair value gap. Okay, that is my expectation on GJ this week. Okay, GJ is bearish. Okay. Other instruments, let's see. Strong against the weak. Let's see. Aussie. Okay, we'll look at Aussie card. Let's see Euro. Euro USD should be bullish. We've seen that. The Euro USD is bullish. Let's see CAD JPY also. Let's see CAD JPY. CAD JPY should be bearish also. Let's see. So you can see last week candle closed. Okay, last Friday candle is a spinning top. You can see it's a spinning top indicating that the trend is changing from bullish to bearish. Okay, know the trend. Then you go to FinVis to confirm if, in this case, if Japanese yen is strong. Okay, you just go to, after you've confirmed the reversal candle, then you go to FinVix to confirm if yen is strong before you take the sell trade. And CAD JPY is likely going to come fill this fair value gap. That's what I see on CAD JPY. At the moment, it has moved. Price has already moved. Best is wait for price to retrace before you take the sell. Wait for price to retrace before you join the trend. Okay, wait for price to retrace. I think it has created a fair value gap. Let's say on 4 hour. Okay, so you could wait for price. You can see it has created a fair value gap here. It has created a support stone resistance. So you want to wait for price to pull back. I think this support resistance is in confluence with this fair value gap. It's in confluence with this fair value gap. So this would be the best zone to join the sell. Wait for a retracement. If you apply your Fibonacci from this swing high to this low, this should be premium. Okay, this should be premium. So wait for price to pull back to this zone, okay, before you join the trend. Canadian JPY, CAD JPY. Any question? Is there any other instrument you want us to look at? Any other instrument you want us to look at? Let me know in the comment section. If you look at Australian dollar JPY, let's see Australian dollar JPY. I think Australian dollar JPY has been in a range, and if you check this, you would see that uh, both currencies are strong. You can see it has been in a range since the market opened. So if you go to Finvix, you would see that both pairs, you can see JPY and Australian dollar. You can see both are strong. You can see both are strong. That's why it's been ranging. Australian dollar JPY has been ranging because both currencies are strong. You can see that. You can see that. So if you're considering selling Australian dollar JPY, said JPY is very strong. You want to wait for a bearish reversal pattern to form on Australian dollar JPY before you sell. So what I think will play out on Australian dollar JPY, we have this highs, which is an area of liquidity. Okay, so if you want to sell Australian dollar JPY this week, wait for the liquidity residing at this previous high to be cleared. After the liquidity gets cleared, then you wait for a bearish reversal pattern to form, okay, on the chart. Once you're able to identify a bearish reversal pattern on the chart, then you go to Finvix and ensure that Australian dollar is weak on Finvix. Ensure that Australian dollar is weak. At the moment, you can see the previous 4 hour, looks like a shooting star. It looks like a shooting star. But if you go to Finvix, it's still Australian dollar is still very strong on Finvix. So you don't want to jump in and start selling. You want to ensure that JPY remains strong and Australian dollar remains weak, is weak before you take a sell trade. Okay, so based on what we have on the chart now, I'm sure they would clear the liquidity residing at this previous high before going bearish on Australian dollar JPY. So I see good setup on JPY pairs this week. I see good setup on JPY pairs this week. Remember, this week is FOMC week. This week is FOMC week. And like I told you guys yesterday, I will be considering trading dollar pairs on Thursday. Okay? On Thursday, I'll be considering trading dollar pairs on Thursday because of FOMC. Because of FOMC. Any question? FOMC will be released on Wednesday. Wednesday by, I think it's in the evening, 7 p.m. I think. FOMC, okay, 7 p.m. Between 7 and 7:30 p.m. Nigerian time. Okay. Thursday will be a very good time to look for the sell setup on FOMC. My plan is to buy dollar. Okay, my plan this week is to buy dollar. So after FOMC, I believe one will be able to see a very good setup. Okay. Any question? Do you have any question? Is there any other instrument you want us to look at? Let me know in the comment section. Any question? If you have anyone who is interested in learning how to trade Forex, invite them for the free class scheduled for this Friday by 9 p.m. If you have anyone who is interested in trading, it's an introductory class, okay? Not for experienced traders, for new traders, inexperienced traders, okay? If you have anyone who is interested in learning how to trade Forex, invite them for the class, 9 p.m. on Friday. I'll make the link available later today. Okay, for new traders, the link will be available today. Invite them for the class. Is there any other instrument you want us to look at? Let me know in the comment section. Welcome, Mr. Godswill. Any question? Please, you guys can also help share the link on your WhatsApp status. Okay, you can also help share the link on your WhatsApp status. Okay, spread the news. Spread the news. People need to be informed. They need to be informed. A lot of people are just blowing accounts, and that's because they are not informed. They said that if you are not informed, you will be deformed. It's one of the major reasons traders lose money consistently in the market. They lack the right information. They lack the right information. So please share the link on your status so that they can attend the class. Okay. So it appears there are no questions. I appreciate you all for your participation. Please, if you're yet to give the video a thumbs up, please do, so that others can get to see this video. And if this is your first time participating on the live stream, please subscribe to the channel so that you're notified by YouTube. Please give the video to this video. Once again, I want to have a profitable trading day. Bye for now.